Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Behind the Closed Doors. We are in Flushing, Queens, Chinatown. Today we're gonna do some street photography and I'm gonna talk to you guys about this lens, the 24-240 from Sony. I tested it before on the A7R 1 or 2 and at that point I thought the lens was a little bit too slow. I've been using it in South Africa and also here, and I can already tell you this is my new favorite travel and street photography lens. But more on that later. Let's go to Chinatown in Flushing, Queens.
Nee, wel vaker.
Dit is de derde keer dat we hier zijn.
Ja, op de vierde. Ik laat hem nu even lopen. Maar wat wil je, rechtdoor? Van de andere kant?
Okay, one of the things that you have to be realizing is when you do street photography, you have to react fast, right? So make sure that you don't turn off the camera. Leave it on. It will drain the battery a little bit faster, but at least you can respond really fast when you see something cool. So leave the power on. Now, one of the things that I love about places like this is there's so much activity. And the cool thing about this lens is because it's a 240, you can actually isolate that activity. So you just zoom in on one person, you can make them stand out of the crowd, or you can do stuff that you normally can't do. So you can walk around with the 24-70 or with the prime lens, but you miss so many shots in 10 times zoom. That's absolutely great for this kind of work. Okay, now some people might wonder, like, why do you use a lens that's 3.5 to 6.3? Why not a 2.8? The thing is, and I explained it in the previous scene, is if you want to have a lot of options, that 10 times zoom really comes in handy. And let's be honest, you don't always want to shoot on 2.8. And at one point you have to make the decision. Do I want to get a lot of different options and maybe a little bit more depth of field? Or do I want only 2.8? And in my opinion, 10 times zoom, absolutely awesome for this kind of work. So really enjoying the lens here, and the autofocus is pretty fast on this camera. Now, one of the most asked questions, of course, is always, what are your settings? For street and travel photography, I love to do auto ISO with a minimum shutter speed of wherever you are. If we're in the subway, I choose, let's say, a 60th of a second because everything is a little bit static. When I'm on the street, I choose anywhere between 1/500th of a second and 1,000th of a second. I might wonder, with 1,000th of a second, don't you get a little bit of noise? In my opinion, it's better to get the shot sharp with a little bit of noise than actually get a blurry shot. But in all honesty, when somebody complains about the quality of a shot, like it isn't completely sharp, maybe the shot isn't strong enough, because an original image should really capture the viewer. And as soon as you start worrying about details or about noise or whatever, the image isn't strong enough. I won't say that you can get away with all blurry shots, of course, but make sure that you try to get it as sharp as possible. But most of all, think about the story. And with 1/500th of a second and 1,000th of a second, you at least know that when something moves around, it isn't blurry. So that's my setting for this camera. Now this is one of the advantages of 24 to 240. You see this guy all the way up there? With a 24 to 70 you can't zoom in. With this one you can. So let's zoom in. Love it.
Oh ja, nou dat verandert de boel.
Ja, ik ook.
De Ammer Asia Bank.
Okay, one more quick tip in between. Now it's always difficult of course to just aim your camera at somebody and take the shot, right? So what I try to do is first I take one picture from an angle which is okay. Because then maybe the guy shooting doesn't see you, right? Then I try to position myself in the right position and get a little bit of an attention from the guy. If you look straight into the camera and it's fine, you just press the shutter. If he says no picture, you at least got the picture from the other side. So that's my tip for getting shots on the street when you love to shoot people, which I actually do. Quick in-between tip. If you lost your car in the parking garage in America, just press the close and you will hear your car honking for you.
Okay.
Or you just use an app. We didn't.
Was haunting his flat, so much so that he fled to Paris, and I was like your normal kid. At the time, we had an Atari, so I played that like creep.
Ja, drukker als dat de vorige keer was. Dat is goed. Ik vind dat ook een keer. Now, of course, everybody has their favorite spot in a city, right? B&H, Times Square, whatnot more. But without any doubt, if you're a visitor in New York for the first time or for the 20th time, Coney Island is without a doubt something that you really should visit. And this is actually the first time we're here when it's a little bit nice in the weather. So normally we're here when it's freezing cold or raining. Now it's nice. So for the first time we actually see that everything is open now.
Yeah.
And when you're at Coney Island, get a hot dog at Nathan's. You must do that. It's pretty awesome. Okay, I won't show you anymore because this is actually a private residence. Yesterday we told you about the Airbnb we're staying in, and how something went wrong. Let me put it that way. We actually left the Airbnb. We had to. So every night till around 1:30 in the morning, there was this huge noise. People upstairs just moving furniture or remodeling the house. I don't know what they did. This morning at 6 o'clock again, a lot of noise. And now the thing comes, and this is why we left. We're not... Let me put it this way, they warned us it could be a little bit noisy, and we're fine with it. You know, you're in New York. What can you expect? We live in a very, very quiet area. New York is a little bit more loud. So what? That's part of the deal, right? But there's a difference between being dangerous and noisy. So this morning at 6 o'clock we woke up, again a lot of noise. And we just decided, you know what, I'm gonna go to the restroom. And we have an early start, right? Just make the best of it. Don't complain, make the best of it. Now, I'm sitting on the restroom. Don't worry, I'm not gonna tell anymore. Sitting on the restroom, and there's this window above me that's open, right? I'm sitting there, and some guys at 6:30 starts the car, and all the fumes just come running into the bathroom. I got a headache, I got dizzy, and there was a lot of debris next to our toothbrush. We did a video on it for the very simple reason I couldn't believe it. It was idling for about 15 minutes. So at first it was like revving up the engine, getting a lot of fumes inside the restroom, in the bathroom. And the window was literally like, because it's a basement apartment, so this is the window. And the fumes were coming literally straight into the window because the exhaust pipes were next to the window. We ran out of the area because it literally was filling up with fumes. Got outside, headache was a little bit less, and we decided to just go into the city and try to find a different location. We emailed some friends, and this is awesome. All three offered us to stay with them. That's so nice, and you know who you guys are. Thank you so very much. That's real friends, right? So we actually now are at another area. It's absolutely beautiful. It's a lot further away from the city. So tomorrow for B&H, I have to travel a little bit more. And for the workshop, we actually have to travel almost 2 hours. But we're going to do it. So it's no problem at all for us. The thing is, however, that it's mind-boggling for us that if you have an Airbnb, we actually called the owner several times about the noise, and they just don't want to do anything. We went outside, asked the guy like, hey, do you think it's normal at 6:30 to start a car, revving up the engine and just getting us out of bed? His answer, very simple, not apologizing, nothing, was just like, it's not my problem, dude. You just go like, that's so antisocial. We are almost like offended by that. Like, dude, you live together with somebody, you rent out the apartment, you're one of the tenants, just take care of the guys below it. Now, if it was 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, I'm fine with that. 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, fine. But earlier, that's just ridiculous, and especially with all the fumes coming into the bathroom. So we called the Airbnb and we asked a refund for the very simple reason. It was 3 nights, and it was 3 nights of not sleeping very well. So we're very tired. The answer was actually, if you had to leave the apartment at 11, we could refund the money. At that point it was already 11:30, so we couldn't leave the house. So after some discussion, they actually got it like, okay, if you leave at 12, but it was 5 minutes before 12. In the end, because we really complained, we only have to pay 3 nights, and those are the 3 nights that we stayed there, and everything else is refunded. Now, in all honesty, just between you and me, I still think paying for 3 nights is criminal. It's literally criminal. But on the other hand, you know, what can you do? We don't want to spoil the 3 days that we have. We don't want to be frustrated about it. We're now with friends, and it's much better over here. So that's the update on our house. So the thing about the lens, you saw me using it in Chinatown. I've been using it in South Africa. It's without any doubt 10 times zoom is the sweet spot for street and travel photography. It's not the sharpest lens in the bunch, but it's still very, very good. I would say it's beyond okay. So if you have an okay lens, you can work with it. This is beyond okay. So it's pretty good. It's still not, of course, the 24 to 70 2.8 I'm using normally, but the 24 to 240 from Sony is an amazing lens for traveling. If you can work with the 3.5 to 6.3, I believe it is, I highly recommend that lens, especially on the A7R3 or A7R4. The autofocus is much faster than on the A7R1, and now this lens has become one of my favorite lenses for travel photography. So, for today, that's it. A little bit of a shorter day because we had to drive almost an hour and a half to our friend's house. And tomorrow, we're going to go into the city for the B&H seminar. So join us for tomorrow's episode of Behind the Closed Doors. Leave comments below, and if you have any questions about the lens, or you want to see me do different stuff, or you want to give your opinion about the apartment situation, let me know in the comments below. Thank you so very much for watching, guys, and tell other people about our channel so we can grow. See you again tomorrow. Bye, guys.